everyone, my name is Elle. Welcome. Today I have a Sephora haul. It has been a very long time since I have done a haul, well over a year. I don't do them very often, but I've had a lot of requests from people wanting to see hauls from me. So when I purchase stuff, people are really curious as to what I am bringing into my collection where I've been panning so much stuff. So I thought that I would share with you guys the stuff that I purchased recently from the Sephora VIB sale, since everything has now arrived. It's not a lot of stuff, but it's a decent amount of stuff. So I thought that I would take you through each purchase and explain the reasons why I made those purchases. So if you don't like hauls, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to do them every now and then. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. I don't know why you clicked on it to begin with. That's just all I have to say. Because even though I am part of the panning community and I have been trying to rein in my makeup addiction, as I've talked about previously, I'm still making purchases. You know, I'm not a minimalist, and I really do want to share more than just the things that I'm panning with you guys. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. I'm going to start with the non-makeup products and save those for the end because those are always a little bit more fun. So the first thing I picked up, something very simple. This is a dry shampoo. This had been on my wish list for a very long time after having a travel size of it. This is a Living Proof Perfect Hair Day dry shampoo. So I've been trying to work through as much of my other dry shampoos as possible, and I currently have, I think, 1.5 dry shampoos that just don't quite work as well for me. One from Not Your Mother's and one from Batiste. And I just fell in love with this one when I tried the sample of it, and I knew I wanted to purchase it. So I know I don't need to have more than one dry shampoo at a time, but I've just been sick of having products that don't quite work that well for me, especially when I know that there are things that exist that do work well for me. With dry shampoos, I like something that I can put on either in the evening before I go to sleep and I'll let it do its magic in my hair, or the next morning. And like something like the Batiste is good overnight, but I can't get it to work well enough into my hair in the morning. So if I happen to forget at nighttime, and that's where this one comes in, because this is a perfect kind of dry shampoo for those I'm really running late, I just need to freshen up a little bit, and it just gets rid of all the oil and grease. So I'm really glad I finally have that. It was also sold out for the longest time, and that's really frustrating. I'm glad it was in stock during the sale, unlike my Cinema Secrets brush cleaner, which I definitely would have purchased, but was out of stock for the entire duration of the sale. So the next thing I picked up is a Beautyblender set. So I picked up this exact same set last year, and it seemed to really do me well for the year. Honestly, I think I need about 3 to take me through a full year, 3 Beauty Blenders, because I can make one stretch for about 4 months. And then after the 4-month mark, I'm like, there's no saving this anymore. I know some people keep their Beauty Blenders for a year plus, and you really shouldn't do that because there's so many germs and stuff in there. Even if you clean it, it's still a makeup sponge. And so I like to get these kits when there's a discount, some sort of sale or something, especially the ones that have more than one, just because I like to switch them out a few times during the year. So it has the sponge cleaner as well, the liquid sponge cleaner, and then 2 of the standard pink Beauty Blenders. So I'll probably pick up another one during the sale they have sometime in the springtime. I'll probably pick up either an individual Beauty Blender or some kind of set as well. But anyway, I'm obsessed with Beauty Blenders, but they really only work very well for me when they are fairly new. Once it gets past like the 3-month mark, I can't usually use it that much for foundation application. I just use it for underneath the eyes. So sometimes I will just use it for applying foundation underneath the eyes, but usually it's for blending in concealer. That's where I like to use it the most, because I feel like I get the most natural finish using a sponge like this. So I'm a Beauty Blender addict. I've had one for years. I can't imagine not having one at this point. It really is a staple in my makeup collection. Next, I have a few skincare things from the Sephora brand. I had tried a few samples of the Sephora cleansing cream during my hashtag 365 days of samples, and so I picked up one of the few ones that were still in stock. This is the Yuzu. I think it's Yuzu, Y-U-Z-U. This is supposed to be revitalizing and toning. So I just thought that I would give this a try since I tried a couple of the samples and I really liked it. Just the particular ones I had tried were out of stock. Otherwise I would have purchased those. And I picked up a couple more of the sleeping masks. So So this would be my third and my fourth ones. I'd used a couple of different ones before. I thought I'd try a few more. I have one that is Ginseng, so it's supposed to be toning and firming, and I have not tried that one yet. And then I have the Orchid one, which is supposed to be anti-aging and smoothing, and I did notice it was pretty smoothing. It's almost gone now at this point, but it was really nice and refreshing on the skin. I like these because they're so little and they don't last for very long, so I don't have time to get bored of them, because I find that happens with me with everything I use, is that I will use something for a little while, like it, and then get tired of it. There's so little in here that it's like I use it and I still love it. So that's a really fun thing. Those are very cheap as well. These are like $5 each, Canadian too, so it's just really affordable, so I had to pick up a couple of them. I picked up a travel size of the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. So this is like a special holiday edition. It has like little ornaments and stuff on it. I had the full size before, earlier this year, and I think I panned it. I can't remember if it was in a panning project or if I just ended up finishing it. I can't remember at this point. But I finished it, didn't really think anything of it for probably about a month or two, until I started to go to like reach for it, because I was like, I want something that's going to give my skin that luminous finish like this mist did. And I kept trying to recreate it with other products and nothing was working for me. I kept trying to find products that would mimic the glow, because I was like, this can't be as good as I think it is. It's so overhyped. So many people love it. It can't be that good, and it just is that good. So I opted to get the smaller size instead of the full size this time, just because I'm not sure how often I'm going to use it. I'm not sure how much I'm going to want the dewy skin look. So I thought that instead of hanging on to a full size of it, I just use the travel size, and then if I end up using it a lot and really love it, then I'll just have to buy the full size again if it becomes a necessary staple for my collection, which it just might, because I do like having the luminous skin. So speaking of dewy luminous skin, that takes us nicely into the next product, a face primer. This is from Becca. This is the First Light Priming Filter Instant Complexion Refresh. Basically, it's a primer. So this, I tried samples, I think, of it during my sample project as well. A lot of these things are things I'm very familiar with from samples or just from trying other shades of them. So this primer I loved. I tried the Backlight primer as well and hated that one. Did not work for me at all, but the First Light one, the purple one, worked so well for me. It just really gave my skin that luminous glow without emphasizing my pores like the Backlight primer did, as well as some other illuminating, luminous, dewy, whatever you want to call it, primers, which really would just make my pores look huge. And this one just doesn't. This one just makes my skin look really fresh. This primer paired with the Tatcha is just so good, and then when you pair it with a luminous foundation, it's just so glowy. I love it. So I didn't need a new primer because I still have a bunch that I'm working through, but at this point I have a lot that I'm working through that I'm not crazy about. So I like to have a good balance. I don't want to have everything that I dislike. I want to have some stuff that I do truly like. So it's just going to be a balancing game. Like the other primers I will use sort of in my day-to-day life, and then stuff like this one I'll use when I film. So it will end up evening out at the end. I just won't have as much usage right away from some of those other products, and that's fine. I picked up a second primer. I did, I know. This is from Mercier. It's the Blemishless primer. This is also another one that I tried a little sample size of and fell in love with it. So just even factoring out the anti-acne properties in this primer, I love it because it really feels nice on the skin. Foundation goes on nicely on top of it. Various types of foundations, from luminous to natural to light coverage to full coverage. Everything just looks good with this primer. It's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's not too thick. Some of the other anti-acne primers I've tried before haven't sat very well on my skin, or they've been very heavy and I feel like they're clogging my pores and making the whole situation worse. This one seems to really, really help. I do have a breakout going on right now and I'm not sure what caused it, but it could be just because I've been using a bunch of new things, and I think I also I need to clean some of my brushes. I need to swap out Beautyblender eyeliners. I just need to refresh everything, I think, because my skin's kind of reacting poorly. But this face primer is so good. So I've been using it a little bit over the last week or so, mixing and matching it with the different foundations I have, and it's wonderful. And speaking of foundations, you guys are gonna be mad at me, but whatever. I bought 2 foundations as well. I picked up the Marc Jacobs ReMarcable Full Cover Foundation Concentrate. This stuff is no joke. I had tried a sample of this before a long time ago now. I think it actually might have been last year with my sample project. And I said that I really liked the formula, but I felt like there might not have been a shade light enough for me. And then I had a lot of people comment and being like, girl, there is a shade light enough for you. And I picked up the shade 10 Ivory Light, and it's like a perfect match for me. I'm so glad that I listened to you guys and I picked this up. I had seen this going around for a long time because I think this foundation is like a year or 2 old. It's got this weird packaging. I don't like it. I don't like the packaging that much, but the product is fantastic. It's so full coverage, and a little goes a long way. I don't have anything that feels like that, so I'm really happy I picked up that foundation. I'm really happy I did, because it's just, it covers everything, and it's so easy to use. Despite the weird packaging, it just goes on so well. I do find I kind of have to work in sections on my face, but that's fine. It does not take very long at all. Like some foundations can feel like you're blending forever. This one, a couple minutes and you've got your full face done. The other foundation I picked up is from Cover FX, and this is the Natural Finish Foundation. So this was me kind of going in blind. I'd read a few reviews. I wanted to try more Cover FX products. I do have a cream foundation from Cover FX, which I use on the go. It kind of lives in my purse, and I use it to touch up any spots on my face as I need to. I picked this one up in the shade N0 because I wasn't sure what would be the right shade for me. I probably could have gone with a P, which would have been like for like pink undertones, cooler toned skin, but they tend to go as low as like P20, which I feel like is like the equivalent of like an NW20 from MAC, which is too dark for me. I'm like an NW13 in MAC, so I thought that I would go with the very lightest and see if I liked it, and that's the foundation that's on my face today, and it's perfect. It is almost the most perfect foundation that I own, just because it matches everything so well. I did feel like I needed to use a lot in comparison to the Marc Jacobs just to cover my full face, but it is a natural finish foundation, so I just think it's because I have like that breakout going on here that I was a little bit more self-conscious about that. But with my skin is clear, I feel like I can get away with less product just to even things out a little bit. So far so good. I did notice that it made me a little bit oily when I wore it for a full day. Like my T-zone, which is where I tend to be the oiliest, was fairly oily after a few hours because I didn't set it. I wanted to see how it wore. So I know now to powder my face down so I don't get that shine, and that's no issue. And finally, I have a couple of fun products. The first thing I have here is from Urban Decay, one of the glitter eyeliners, one of the heavy metal glitter eyeliners. This is the shade Pyro. So I'm obsessed with the glitter eyeliners, very obsessed. This is one of my favorite makeup products that I own. I have all but 2 of them now. I picked up 2 of the new shades, no, 3 of the newer shades when they first came out. I bought them right off of the Urban Decay website because I had almost all of them before. So I have all of the original ones now and 4 of the new ones, and I'm just missing 2 of the new ones, and then I'll have them all. And these are definitely a product that I will have them all. I love them. I use them constantly. I have this one on in my inner corner right now. I tried to tone it down and not go too crazy because my problem is that they look really good in moderation, and I tend to just go overboard because it's glitter and it's easy to use. So I'm just like, I'll just put a little bit here, and the next thing I know, I have glitter all over my entire face because I just can't stop using it because it's addictive to put glitter on, and in such an easy format because the glitter is suspended in the base, so you don't have to worry about using any kind of other glue. It just does it for you. And so God, it's such a dream to use. And I love all the different shades because they're all different. And the thing with the glitter eyeliner, it's like, it's not like it's lipstick or something where like you have to worry about undertones or something. It's glitter. It's glitter. So Pyro is very iridescent. It's almost like a toned down version of Distortion, which I also have, but I just think it's really beautiful. It reminds me a little bit of the Share glitter from Lit Cosmetics, which I also really like. So it's an absolutely beautiful glitter. It's not my favorite of the new ones that I have. That would have to be Grind. I've been wearing that one non-stop, but this one is so beautiful and I just love them. This is one of those products that I just love the formula so much that I just can't not buy more of them. So, you know, it's one of those I didn't need it, but I kind of needed it. It's glitter. Glitter like is in my veins. I live, breathe everything glitter. And the last product I picked up is another similar product to the Urban Decay in that I have multiple of them, and that's one of the Tarte clay pots. These are the Amazonian clay waterproof liners, so you might have seen that little bit of yellow because I picked up Goldilocks, which is, you guessed it, a yellow. So I have a bunch of these. I tried these a while ago on a whim and found out that I absolutely love them as traditional liner, as little accent things, as just like a cream eyeshadow. Love, love. I've got a pink, I've got a white, I've got a green, I've got a blue, I've got a purple, I've got a copper. I've got a lot of them. I got a lot of them and I love them, and this is another thing that I just want all the colors because I can think of so many different ways to use them and they're so easy to use. They're just so good. So this is just a yellow. It's the perfect name for it, is Goldilocks. They're very smooth, they're very creamy, they're very easy to apply, but then they dry down and they are not budging, which is what I love because I have hooded eyes. So with my liner, sometimes it will transfer to other parts of my lid, and with this stuff I have no problem. So I need to get the black one because I feel like that might help me with my whole like winged eyeliner situation. I haven't got that one yet because I have a few other blacks that I'm like, should I pan these, should I use these, or should I just toss them and buy the Tarte? Haven't made that decision yet. So I'm just trying to use some of the things that I already have, but the Tarte is just like the perfect formula for me. I just love the way that they apply, and I will use them for cut creases and, like I said, little details and unusual placements and stuff as well. They're so good. So I feel good overall about all of my purchases. I think I was fairly smart. I think I was fairly conservative. I stuck with products that I'm comfortable with things that I was familiar with the exception of like the Cover FX foundation, which ended up turning out really well for me so far. So I have zero regrets. Zero. We'll see next year, looking back, how I feel, if I end up regretting any of these things, but I highly doubt it. I was smart and I stuck to my own collection and what I wanted instead of looking at other people's recommendations. I was not factoring in what other people were purchasing or what other people said I should purchase. I just looked at what I wanted for myself, and that was a huge, huge help for me, and I would highly recommend that to anyone else. And going forward, if you're thinking about making purchases for sales, just look at what you actually want and need and go from there. Don't look at all these other recommendations and what other people are getting, because it might not be for you. Like I know I talk a lot about like the various liners, the glitter liners and these Tarte liners, but it's because they work for me, they might not work for you. And if you're not a person who does glitter or does a lot of color, then these are not going to be things that are going to be practical for you to have. Despite how much I love them, it doesn't mean that you're going to love them or that you're going to use them. So I just think that's something really important to keep in mind when it comes to sales, is just really look at stuff for yourself. Look within your own little world and don't be looking outside for recommendations, because if you wouldn't purchase it before the sale, you don't need it during. Like saving 20%, 15%, it does not mean anything if that product is going to sit on your shelf for the next year. Alright, so that is everything for my Sephora haul. I was really excited to share these products with you guys, and I'm really excited to use these more. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to let me know what you picked up during the sale, if anything, and if you've tried any of these products that I've tried and what you think about them, because I'd love to know that as well. And that is everything from me. Thank you once again. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you, and I will talk to you hopefully very soon. Bye for now.